Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Drake's Corner. Here we are, back again, another podcast type deal. NFL free agency mayhem. It's going to be kind of an off the rip, off the top of the head podcast. That's all we're going to be discussing today. But first, I want to jump into my Chicago Bears trading that number one pick away to the Carolina Panthers. We snagged a second-round pick this year, the number 9 pick. 2024 first-round pick, 2025 second-round pick, and to cap it all off, DJ Moore, just a little icing on top there. Thing I love about this trade for the Bears is DJ Moore, first of all, puts all the receivers on the Bears, like Claypool, Mooney. It puts them all in the correct spots. You got Claypool out there as the number 2 guy on the outside, DJ Moore, the number 1. Mooney back into the slot, which is where he needs to be. He's an undersized guy. He can't be a 1. I mean, a lot of Bears fans would like to argue that Mooney can be a 1. He's just not. That's not his play style. I feel like he'd want to be in the slot where he, he established himself at, and where he thrives at. The draft capital is huge as well for the Bears. Especially with the Bears grabbing all these star free agents, as we've seen: Tremaine Edmunds, T.J. Edwards, Nate Davis, guard from the Titans, and now DeMarcus Walker just broke, defensive end who had 7 sacks last year, and there's still more to come. I feel like there's going to be a few more offense, trenches signings like offensive tackle, maybe a D tackle signing as well. But the Panthers, on the Panthers end, they're going to get their franchise guy, but it came at a cost. Who that franchise guy might be, there's no thought in the world out there, they have guarantees on any of these guys. C.J. Stroud is currently the favorite, but, there's been rumors that Frank Reich is in love with Anthony Richardson right now after the combine, the 99 combine grade and all that jazz. So, Anthony Richardson's kind of like that, most potential guy, but C.J. Stroud is the most proven. Also, Bryce Young, though. Bryce Young is, the consensus number 1 quarterback. So, but, C.J. Stroud is kind of the favored number 1 pick right now. So we'll see what Carolina does. But Chicago right now is making big moves in free agency and in the, getting that draft capital. Ryan Poles knows exactly what he's doing. He's cold, calculated. He signed T.J. Edwards cheap. He paid Tremaine Edmunds pretty damn good. So he's got his linebacking core set. I feel like he's going to look in the draft for that trench play. Maybe draft Jalen Carter if he drops at the number 9 spot. Maybe an offensive tackle. Who knows? But, this is a calculated man who knows exactly what he's doing with the Chicago Bears. Expect big moves still to be made. Maybe another trade down. Maybe big free agency signing still in play. Another big deal that happened today. Austin Eckler requests a trade. Maybe a few years ago this would have been a huge deal when the running. I just feel like in the past few years the running back position has been devalued. You come out with all these what Super Bowl caliber teams are paying their running backs, and it's come out as a big deal, like what the Chiefs are paying Isaiah Pacheco and what the Eagles are paying Miles Sanders. If you take a look at, the Bills, they haven't had an elite running back for a long time. 49ers pay Christian McCaffrey, but, the teams in the Super Bowl, Chiefs, Eagles, their running backs aren't star caliber guys. And a running back doesn't make or break your team at this point anymore if you take a look at the last few years. These Super Bowl caliber teams pay their running backs cheap, and Austin Eckler right now with the Chargers cap situation, he's not going to get paid a big extension, and he's going to get dealt. Obviously, I would think he would want to go to another contender. I like the thought of him on the, Buffalo Bills, help out Josh Allen with some screen passes, get the run game going over there. They haven't had a run game. Josh Allen's been the leading rusher there for a long time. Eckler's 28 years old, so, running backs typically don't have the longest careers, but 28 years old, maybe 3 to 4 left good prime years for Austin Eckler. He's not your typical running back though. He's great he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. But to me, this screams Buffalo Bills. They've wanted an elite running back for a long time. I don't think Bijan Robinson is going to drop that far in the draft for them. So right now, this make or break time for their, Super Bowl odds. They want a Super Bowl bad. They've been on the brink. I think Austin Eckler, another big playmaker, would, put them in a good spot. And I'm, running backs right now, I don't think it's going to cost a huge price. Maybe a third-round pick this year, third round next year, who knows. But after seeing, what Jalen Ramsey was dealt for, just a third rounder, it's mostly just money, being the big factor there. Who's going to take on that cap hit? Now it's going to become who's going to pay Austin Eckler. It's not about these picks anymore. It's about getting these guys off the roster. It's about who's going to pay. It's more so, cap hit rather than what you're going to get for the guy. So I feel like a lot of NFL fans, when they see Jalen Ramsey only grabbed for a third-round pick, it was a cap situation rather than, what can we get for Jalen Ramsey? So who's willing to take on that contract? Because obviously right now the LA Rams are in rebuild mode. They're basically Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald are the only guys untouchable. Maybe Stafford too, but I feel like Stafford could be dealt as well. So yeah, that kind of puts a level field on what these guys are worth in the NFL world when it comes to draft picks. But I feel like it all comes down to salary cap now rather than what can we trade away, what deal can we make for this guy. But it boils down to cap at this point. After seeing what Jalen Ramsey was dealt for, after seeing one that comes to my mind was DeAndre Hopkins a few years back when he was traded off the Texans out of nowhere for like a 3rd and 7th round pick, I think it was. I'm not completely sure but it was a fleece job, and the Cardinals got him for essentially nothing. But it was just cap at that point. Let's get into a few more NFL free agency signings. Garoppolo to the Raiders. Devontae Adams, 30 years old, on the brink of his career here. They may draft a quarterback still, but to get someone experienced, especially an experienced winner like Jimmy Garoppolo. It was Derek Carr's time to end there. He's been through too many coaches, too many, seasons there with the Raiders with no success really in the playoff world. Garoppolo's had playoff success, so he knows what that's like. For a fresh slate for Jimmy G, it was needed. The uncertainty of him being the starter in San Francisco for like the last 3 years, questioning, is he injury prone? With the Trey Lance drafting, is this the guy? But they stuck with Jimmy till he got injured again. And, at this point, I think it was time for a clean slate when it came to playing around with Kyle Shanahan's schemes. When they draft a quarterback, then they go to Purdy. So you got 3 guys in that locker room who obviously, have played the starting job. And, with the Niners not committing to him, I can understand why he wanted to leave, of course. But yeah, I think it was time for a clean slate all around. And I like the signing for the Raiders. This is a guy who knows how to win. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo's record in the playoffs is better than a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. It's better than Aaron Rodgers. It's better than, Joe Burrow right now. I like the signing. Garoppolo, he hasn't had an elite wideout, really, if you think about it. If you want to count Debo, sure. But while Garoppolo was playing, Debo was playing running back half the time. So it's fascinating to see what Jimmy G can do with Las Vegas. They're probably still going to draft a quarterback, but Jimmy G is the certain starter, at least for this year and maybe the next year. So I don't know if the Raiders – I'm 50-50. I'm still questioning whether the Raiders are going to draft a quarterback. But, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot for Garoppolo. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers to New York. It sounds it's Monday night right now. It's about 9 p.m. right now. But Aaron Rodgers to New York sounds like a done deal as we're speaking. He gets a fresh start, which is probably more needed than what Jimmy G's been going through. But, the emotional wear and tear, the just exhausting news of this, they got to be exhausted of each other. But it basically sounds like a done deal with a new stouted receiving core and offense that hasn't made things as passionate and emotional as Green Bay. I expect Rodgers to have more of a free mind, per se, in New York. He's kind of started this weird hippie phase. You can kind of just tell how he dresses and how he talks in interviews, that he's more of like a free mind, one of those guys that like take shrooms almost. But I don't, he's admitted to taking psychedelics and should be arrested, but that's my Bears fandom coming in there. But anyway, expect Rodgers to be more of, when Brady left New England, we saw more of a social media caliber Tom Brady. We saw more of an energy, a personality. I expect the same thing from Aaron Rodgers. Unless he retires, Aaron Rodgers is going to be we're going to see a lot of social media posts, a lot of weird videos that, kind of what we saw from Tom Brady. We'll see, though, if Aaron Rodgers can bring a Super Bowl to New York. That's another topic for another day, but I think we saw Tom Brady as more of a free individual when he was in Tampa Bay. He was even making plays on the field that, he would be benched for in New England if he did. Aaron Rodgers, I could see having the same effect. Anyway, yeah, I like it a lot. For New York at least, and for Green Bay, it's time for a fresh start in both worlds. New York with their exhausting quarterback situation, and the Packers with their exhausting Aaron Rodgers situation of him not bringing a championship for 12 years now. Last one was 2012. So yeah, I think it's Jordan Love time. It's been too long for Green Bay anyway. So yeah, I like both big quarterback signings for both sides. It's not official. The Aaron Rodgers thing is not official. Let me say that one more time. But if this happens, I got my take out there. So I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen in the next 24 hours. If it doesn't, then this deal could completely fall through. Anyway, new linebackers in Chicago. We already touched on that. Two of the best. Tremaine Edmunds, one of the best outside linebackers in the league. He's a great pass coverage guy. He had a few sacks for Buffalo last year, too. He can pretty much do it all in the outside linebacker position. And they also added TJ Edwards, 6th in tackles in the league last year for the Philadelphia Eagles. He is the middle guy in the 4-3 scheme, so good scheme fit there for Chicago. There's a lot of questions about Jack Sanborn, if you're a Chicago fan, at the middle linebacker spot, but they'll figure it out there. These two signings are going to elevate Chicago's defense, in which they need everything they can get. And, with free agency going, they got a few guys. So, and also Jesse Bates signs to the Atlanta Falcons. They can also take anything they can get. Bates is a solid safety. I'm just going to say that. That's a big one. Good for Atlanta. He's young. He's poised. Atlanta's got a lot of cap space still, so we'll see what they do there. That about wraps up free agency mayhem right now. I like a lot of these signings today. It was just, checking Twitter. It was a fun day. And nothing's official till Wednesday, of course. So yeah, I'll probably have this up Tuesday. But Wednesday, everything becomes signed on the dotted line and official. But those were the big signings for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have a mock draft with trades up probably this week. Also, March Madness Year 2. My most viewed video last year. My most viewed video of all time is my March Madness bracket prediction from last year, where I picked Kentucky and then they proceeded to lose to St. Peter's. So I'm really excited to make another one of those videos where I just completely flogged in the comments. So it was a real fun time. Real good for my mental health. Kidding. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if I couldn't take the flogging. Anyway, I'll have 2 big videos up this week. I hope to excite you guys there. Anyway, thanks y'all for watching, and I will see y'all in a bit. Peace.